Goa, 30 June 1979. A cargo ship leaves with 51 people and about 20,000 tons of iron ore. 3 days later, its final recorded radio message is received, and no verified wreck is ever found. This is the vanishing of MV Kairali. Kairali began its final voyage at Mormugao on India's west coast. Its destination was Rostock in East Germany, thousands of kilometers away. The route included a planned stop at Djibouti for fuel. On paper, this was an ordinary commercial voyage, linking an Indian port to Europe. Kairali was carrying iron ore. Later reports usually placed the load near 20,000 tons, although the original manifest was not located in the accessible record. Many retellings say 49 crew members vanished, but the Kerala High Court used the broader and better supported figure of 51 people aboard. Among them was Captain Mariatus Joseph, the master responsible for bringing the vessel across the monsoon season Arabian Sea. Before departure, he had already raised a serious concern. Both of Kairali's radars were defective. The later statutory inquiry found that the captain had been unwilling to sail until the radar problem was addressed. Radar was not a luxury. It helped the crew track nearby ships, navigate poor visibility, and understand what was approaching through rain and darkness. Yet Kairali sailed. That decision would later become central to a court finding, but it still does not tell us what physically happened at sea. The ship did not disappear immediately. Its radio remained active during the opening days, creating a short trail of routine messages. The High Court record supports communications on 1, 2, and 3 July. The captain asked for information about arranging fuel at Djibouti. Then another problem entered the record. Kairali reported damage to an exhaust pipe while the monsoon sea rolled beneath it. The report did not itself declare a disaster. Ships suffer equipment faults, crews make repairs, and voyages continue. That normality makes the next silence more disturbing. On the 3rd of July, Kairali sent its last recorded communication. Later reports place it near 8 that evening, but the date is firmer than the exact time. There was no verified Mayday in the checked record. No final position has emerged publicly. After the ordinary radio traffic, the channel simply went dead. The silence was not instantly treated as proof of catastrophe. Kairali still had a scheduled destination ahead, the refueling stop at Djibouti. On the 7th of July, the Djibouti agent asked the captain to provide an expected arrival time. No answer from Kairali appears in the established chronology. Kairali was expected at Djibouti on 8th of July. The ship did not arrive, and the Empty Berth turned a broken conversation into a missing vessel emergency. Later reporting says the agents notified Kerala Shipping Corporation on the 11th of July that Kairali had failed to arrive. By then, 8 days had passed since the final message. The precise sequence matters because the company's response later faced legal scrutiny. The High Court concluded that immediate, effective steps were not taken. The search chronology contains conflicting dates. The reproduced judgment differs internally by about a day, while later accounts often identify 16 July. The safest conclusion is that the formal search began in mid-July. That was long after Kairali's last confirmed communication and days after its missed arrival. Aircraft crossed the Arabian Sea, scanning mile after mile of broken water, but every sweep opened the same question: where could an entire ore carrier have gone? Searchers found no verified survivors. They found no confirmed lifeboat, cargo, oil slick, wreckage, or debris field that could establish where the ship was lost. A large steel ship can disappear beneath deep water. In Kairali's case, no verified physical trail was found above it. The delay may have helped erase that trail. Rough seas can scatter floating objects, push oil away, and carry evidence far beyond an original search area. The statutory inquiry concluded that the absence of prompt action reduced the chance of finding survivors and allowed turbulent seas to remove possible traces. That finding explains why the response mattered. It does not reveal whether the ship sank slowly, failed suddenly, or was overcome before anyone could call for help. For the families in Kerala, there was not even the certainty that follows a recovered body. Their relatives remained absent, not physically accounted for. Some relatives later said they did not perform funeral rites because no remains or proof had returned. Their grief was suspended between hope and presumed loss. One family eventually brought the loss into court. The case concerned P.C. Matthew, Kairali's chief steward, and the compensation sought by his relatives. The action became Lena Matthew v. Kerala Shipping Corporation. It forced a court to examine the warnings, the voyage, and the response after contact ended. The court treated the Chief Judicial Magistrate's inquiry as a public record carrying strong evidentiary weight. That record contained facts more troubling than the legends added later. A letter written by Captain Mariatus Joseph to his wife on departure day showed that the radar danger was known. The voyage had begun under protest. The inquiry found that both radars were not functioning and that the captain did not want to leave until the defect was addressed. Still, Kairali departed. The court also accepted that the company's later response was delayed. These were not rumors from a mystery program. They were findings used to determine legal responsibility. The judges applied res ipsa loquitur, a doctrine allowing negligence to be inferred from circumstances. Kerala Shipping Corporation was held liable, including vicariously for the captain's negligence. The judgment was delivered on 2nd January 1988, more than 8 years after the disappearance. It established negligence, but stopped before the answer everyone wanted. The court stated that the accident's cause was unknown. It did not prove that defective radar directly sank Kairali or identify the final chain of events. That distinction is the key to the whole case. Unsafe conditions and delayed action were established. Overloading, weather, structural failure, piracy, and scuttling were not. The most repeated explanation begins inside the cargo holds. Later reports often give a load of 20,538 tons against an alleged capacity near 19,000. Those exact figures are widely repeated, but they were not matched here to an original manifest, load line certificate, or verified capacity record. They cannot be treated as settled measurements. If the vessel was overloaded, its safety margin may have narrowed. Heavy cargo placed or trimmed badly could also have affected how the ship responded to waves. Another version involves cargo liquefaction. Wet fine material can begin behaving less like a solid load and more like a shifting mass when a ship repeatedly rolls. A sudden cargo shift could create a dangerous list faster than the crew could correct it. But without moisture data, loading records, or a wreck, this remains a theory. The monsoon provides another plausible context. The legal record describes turbulent seas, and severe weather could have overwhelmed a vessel already facing equipment or stability problems. The established sequence is short. Departure on 30th June, messages through 3rd July, the missed Djibouti arrival on 8th July, and a search only in mid-July. That timeline leaves a large, unobserved stretch of sea. No recovered voyage recorder, wreck site, or verified position report closes the gap. Structural failure could also produce a rapid loss, especially in heavy seas. Yet no steel fragment, engineering inspection, or underwater survey has verified such a break. Piracy is often mentioned because broken radar could reduce warning of an approaching vessel. But there was no verified ransom demand, survivor account, port sighting, or scrapyard trail. Deliberate scuttling and insurance fraud form the darkest theory. Reports of an insurance payment and distrust of the company have kept that suspicion alive. But a payment after a loss is not proof that the loss was engineered. No official fraud finding or physical evidence of deliberate sinking was located. A reported naval sighting near an island would transform the story if confirmed. Families and later media have repeated it, including a claim that the sighting was withdrawn. Imagine the implication. Kairali survives long enough to be seen somewhere unexpected, then disappears again. The problem is that no primary Navy statement confirming or retracting such a sighting was found. The disappearance also reached India's parliament. On the 18th April 1985, Lok Sabha Unstarred Question 3642 formally recorded an inquiry into MV Kairali's disappearance. The catalogue proves the question existed under the Ministry of Shipping and Transport. The complete answer was not accessible, so its contents cannot responsibly be reconstructed. Popular retellings sometimes compare Kairali with the Bermuda Triangle. Geographically, that makes no sense. The ship vanished in the Arabian Sea, far from the North Atlantic legend. The real mystery needs no supernatural fog. A ship departed with known equipment faults, stopped speaking, missed its fuel stop, and was searched for after a damaging delay. The established facts point to operational and administrative failure. They show warnings before departure and lost opportunities after communication stopped. They do not show the exact moment Kairali was lost. There is no verified wreck to reveal whether the hull failed, the cargo moved, or the sea overwhelmed it. The absence of evidence also weakens the more dramatic stories. Piracy, insurance fraud, and the disputed sighting remain speculation, not established history. As decades passed, journalists and relatives continued revisiting Kairali through reports about the missing ship, the people aboard, and the questions that remained unanswered. In 2025, the story returned through new book and film announcements. Those projects may uncover fresh testimony, but promotion alone cannot verify a theory. Captain Marius Joseph's son, Lieutenant Cole Thomas Joseph, announced The Master Mariner, a feature film titled MV Kairali. The enduring mystery was also announced. The renewed attention cannot restore the evidence lost in 1979, but it can preserve the names and the distinction between what authorities proved and what remains imagined. As of August 2026, the checked sources still describe Kairali and those aboard as missing. No publicly verified recovery or definitive physical cause has closed the case. Kairali did not vanish without warning. It vanished after defective radar, a captain's reluctance to sail, equipment trouble at sea, and a delayed response on shore. Negligence is the verdict history can defend. The mechanism of the loss remains hidden somewhere between the final radio message and the empty sea. Which explanation best fits the evidence? And what do you think happened to MV Kairali?